Hey everybody, this video today is going to be, I'm going to change the strings on this guitar. It's my son's guitar, and the strings are maybe 6 months old even, and they're starting to get kind of dull and grungy, and I have a new pack. So I'm going to change out these strings. I'm trying to make it quick. It shouldn't take too long, but I'm going to show you some of the tricks of doing these and all that. So anyway, there you go. Okay, I've already loosened the strings up on this, and not going to cut them because I'm going to show you this little thing that I didn't know when I first started messing with guitars, and when I first worked in a music store. I didn't know this, but these pegs that are pressed in here, they press and they take the ball end of the string and they hold the ball down in there with pressure. And to get them out, they make a tool for this. I don't have that tool, but one thing that I didn't know at first was these things. If you don't have one of these, you should. A string winder, I have a few of them. But this little notch in it right here, you see that notch? That little notch, that's what that's for. These go up under here and pull those pegs out like that. And they should come out pretty easy. Like that, and then these should come on out. There we go, and they're out. And then I'll just wind them off of the peg heads and go from there. Okay, one thing I like to do when I'm putting on new strings, I mean, unless the frets need like a serious polishing where I would get out like polish compound and Dremel tool with the wheel on it. If it just needs kind of a basic, just kind of a polishing, one thing I like to do is, I've always liked to use is Never Dull. You can get this anywhere, and back in the day I used to use these on cymbals. It's just this like cottony material that's soaked in this stuff. And what I'll do is I'll just pull me a little wad of it out like that. And just kind of clean them like that. It does really good. Like I said, just kind of for a basic cleaning of this, it'll shine these up pretty good, unless they've got a lot of wear and are really, really filthy and really need something a little stronger. And if the in between the frets is dirty, I'll use it for that too. These aren't that bad. And then after this, I'm gonna put some lemon oil on it. Let it sit for a little while. I do this on all my guitars, or if I'm working on other people's guitars. It's like I said, I have a Dremel tool and I have little felt polishing wheels and polishing compound that I use if it really needs it. And if it's even worse than that, you can use, some people use steel wool. You also can use like really super fine sandpaper just to kind of smooth these out first, and then use the Dremel in the wheel. But I do like this on all the frets and in between them. And like I said, this one wasn't that bad. I bought this guitar new anyway, and I'm not really much of an acoustic player. I never have been, but my son started digging it and playing it, and he was using it way more than I was. So I told him he could just have it. Let's see, now that's on that. See, now I'll wipe that off. Make sure it's all over there. And then once it's dry, once I get all of that off, I'll get to a dry area and then just kind of buff it, you know, buff them while I'm dropping my pegs. There we go. And at this point, I would get one of these rags and my lemon oil. And I'll just kind of Soak the tip of that like that. Put it in between each fret. Right now I'm just kind of distributing it down, and then I'll make sure that all the wood gets it like this. I'm not going crazy with it. I'm not going to just pour it all over it, but you do want to get some on there where it's wet and shiny like that. I don't know what this wood is on this fretboard. It's really light. You never know. It could be something that's not even wood. They use all kind of weird materials on stuff these days, and this is really a very, very entry-level, you know, budget. It's a Fender, but it may be their least expensive acoustic that there is. But when I bought it, that's what I wanted. I didn't want to sink a bunch of money into an acoustic. Like I said, I'm not even really into acoustic that much. So do like that. And then what I usually do is I'll just take a break at this point, you know, and come back later on that. And just, you know, because if that is real wood, it'll soak that up. Usually it'll soak some of it up. And after a little bit of time, if it hasn't soaked every little bit of it up, I'll kind of wipe that off. But I always think that's a good idea to do, and it makes it feel better when you're playing it. So we'll come back after that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and restring it. I'm gonna use these D'Addario. I use 10s because 10s for an acoustic is pretty thin, very thin. But I'll show you how I put these in here with the pegs. I may just show you on one and then do the others off camera so it doesn't take forever. But it's like this. You take the peg like this, see this little groove in it, and so the string kind of goes into that groove and holds the ball like that. Put it down there like that and wedge it in there like that, and it'll hold the string. So I'm gonna do that with the other 5, and then I'm gonna go up to the headstock and show you how I wind up strings. Okay, I'm gonna show you on this first string how I like to wind up strings. And everybody's got different opinions on this, and everybody's got a different way of doing it, but I think this is best. You know, I'm gonna show you this. You know, I give myself a good bit of slack. I don't mind having some winds on that peg. Some people are sticklers about having as few winds as they can have. I don't think it matters. Just a little bit. But I want you to see this. So see this part right here that's sticking out. I like the first time around, I let it go under the string. See, like that. Hold on the peg, is that weird? Okay. See, I let it go under. But then the second time around and the rest of the times, I bend that up like that. And I let it go under it like that, see? And what that does, as you can see there, see, it's kind of pinched in between there. And some people either go one way or the other way, but this way is a little bit of both. And that's pinched in there. And then when I get all of them on, I get the string stretched real good, you know, I'll cut that excess off, and that ain't going nowhere. So that's how I do that. And I'll do it on the other 5 like that too. That's how I like to do the pegs, peg heads. Okay, I got all the strings wound up. I haven't stretched them yet. I've left them really loose because this part in this container, I did this years ago. I heard about it somewhere, but the best thing to lube up your nut slots with is graphite, but graphite comes in a tube. Oh, I should have looked for it before okay, there we go. It's like this. But in that tube, it's powder. It's like a black powder that will stain anything it touches. It's horrible. But in here, I put a bunch of graphite and Vaseline. So the Vaseline, you know, makes the graphite like stick together and, you know, keeps it from being a big mess. And also Vaseline, you know, is like a lubricant for it too. So, you know, it kind of works two ways. So what I do is I have this little paintbrush that I kind of cut where it's really short. And so I usually just put a bunch of this gunk in the cap here and then get it with the brush like that. And then I just, one at a time, I take the string off, goop some up in there. Something like that. And it's gonna make a mess, but we're gonna wipe that off in a second. Okay, there you go. That. Like that. And like that. Now, let me put this stuff away. Now I will wipe, and I go this way, wipe this way so it doesn't wipe it down onto the fretboard. So you just kind of wipe. And see, it's okay if you dab all this off like this because the parts that are down in the nut slots are where you want them anyway. So now, see, I don't cut these ends off until I tune this thing up and stretch the strings real good. And then I'll cut the excess off. And then that'll be it. All right, so I stretched the strings out 3 or 4 times and tuned it back up with a little clip-on tuner. I clipped off the ends, and that's really all there is to that. You just gotta loosen the strings, take those pegs out with the end of your string winder, and then wind them off the peg heads. Clean the neck, clean the frets, whatever you gotta do. Put the new strings in with these pegs, holding the balls down into the slots, and then wind them up, like I said, a little pinch method, that's what I like. Then tune them up. And they'll continue to stretch. You'll need to keep an eye on that. It'll be a little while before they really stay in tune really, really well. And on an acoustic, you're not bending as much, so you're not gonna bend it out of tune as much, but that's pretty good for now. And I always, any guitar of mine, when I play it, after I get through playing it, I take one of my cleaning rags, which I need some new ones, these are torn up, and I kind of pinch it in my fingers there, and I clean off each string like that, and just wipe all the oils from your fingers and all off the strings. Because if you do that, your strings will last way, way longer. I mean, if you don't do that and you just play it and put it down and then play it and put it down, I mean, they'll be like barbed wire within a couple of weeks, few weeks. But if you wipe them off like that every single time after you play, your strings will last you months. Like I said, these strings I just took off a minute ago, they were probably at least over 6 months old. It was before the new year. But I've always been wiping them off, and I told my son to do the same thing, and he's been doing it, so. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.